All right, rock and roll. Welcome to the Scorched Earth podcast for beautiful Saturday, March 22nd, 2025. I'm your host, John. Welcome. Hit that first if you could, please kindly hit that subscribe and like button. It means a lot to us. If you're feeling a little risque, want to live on the wild side, leave a comment. Let me tell you, like I've said before, I record this the night before so it can be ready for all my legions of East Coast fans. Maybe one day, right? And I had quite a day. It seemed like my mom wanted to get a new computer. And she's a really, really smart human being. But she's of that generation where it's like she just cannot let go of the old stuff. Like she still has a Windows 95 CD, right? She still got that. Like, what's that going to do you? So she's got an antiquated computer. I think it's 2000, 2001. A printer that's basically that old too. And I've had to help her out a couple times. She's needed patches. Some of her software was no longer supported. I think in her computer she had Windows 6 or something like that, whatever it was. And, I had my little brother help me figure out how to keep the computer operating. So she has some things coming up, and I said, you just need to get a new computer. Okay, you just need to get one. We can make some spreadsheets. Not that I can. That's what, once again, where I'll bring in super producer Stacy. Hey, if you happen to notice, she made some really great signs. She, by herself, made these graphic designs, and they are just outstanding. They are just amazing. The talent just never stops with that girl. Between us, we have a lot of talent. She just has 98% of it, right? I'm just the pretty face, right? And so we go into Office Depot. Now, I went to Costco, and I got a couple, I saw a couple quotes on the computers, took snapshots, blah, blah, blah. And I showed them to her. She goes, no, I saw this computer I want for $450 at Office Depot. It's got a 17.3-inch screen. And I said, well, you really don't need the big screen because we're just going to hook your laptop up to your 32-inch monitor. And she goes, well, I just want that. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's cool. And I've learned from my dad, any guy out there you want to, and maybe it's probably why I'm single, is if you want to have a successful relationship, know when to pull it in, know when to tone it down, know when to just say, uncle, okay? Yeah, okay. You can call me a pussy, you can call me a wussy, you call me whatever you want. That's just how it is, right? So we're in there, and I'm trying to find an associate, and I have a funny feeling at Office Depot, probably Staples, all those places, those associates are still living in the era of COVID because they have separated from all the customers. They are isolating in a back room on their phone, watching TV, whatever they're doing. So I finally find one. I wrangle one down. Very nice associate, very, very helpful. So he comes in, and a lot of times my mom's asking him questions. What does this do? What does that do? And he doesn't really know. I mean, he's just working there. He's just a pretty face like I am. And so she gets through with all that, and she finally decides she wants this computer. Okay, I'm cool with that. Whatever you want. It's going to be fine. I thought, you could pay $80 more and get double the RAM, double the storage. At Costco, you're going to get a 2-year warranty, but, let's just let it go. Just let it go, John. Let it go. And you don't need to bring the anger from the Scorched Earth podcast into your own mom's life, right? So she gets done, and then she says, I want a printer. I said, okay. That's a good idea. Let's just wrap it up all right now. So we go over there. She wants an HP. I think that's a great idea. HP is a great name in printers. And then she starts telling the guy Well, I want a printer that blows up everything. And I was just thinking to myself, now look, we all know I'm not really the computer whiz. Thank God for Stacy. But I was just thinking, well, usually there's a number by the font where you can go from 8 to 12 to 16 or to 20, but I'm not really sure about that, but okay, let's go with that. And the guy who's there, he don't know anything. Boy, this guy is real smart for being so young. He's like, well, I'm not sure about that, ma'am. I don't know. So now we decided we're not going to get the printer. All right, that's cool. We get there. My dad hasn't said a word. He's just standing there, and he's like just waiting to get home to watch TV. And they take off, and I go, we'll have Stacy over next week, and we'll figure it all out. And they pull off, and they're just two little peas in the pod. And I'm like, wow, that's 65 years. That's why I couldn't get there, I guess. Just let the lady do what the lady's going to do, right? So then I left there. I had some chores to do. I know you really like hearing about my life before we even get to the news. And I went to go see Magazine Dreams. And that stars Jonathan Majors. He is the villain, or was the villain, in the Avengers movies. He was Kang. He was going to be the new Thanos. Then he got convicted of, I believe, domestic assault, felony assault, third degree in New York with a girlfriend. I'm not going to get into it too much, but things happened. He put his hands on her. And basically destroyed his career. After the verdict came down, Disney, Marvel immediately fired him. And this movie came out before then. It was created before then. And the rumor was he was going to be the next hot star in Hollywood. Now, I watch a lot of movies, and I mean a lot of movies. And I was intrigued, like, what did Disney see in this movie? They bought it at Sundance. And what did they see in him that they thought, oh, this guy could be king? And I will tell you this. I see probably 100 movies a year in the theater. I don't do slasher movies. I don't do horror movies. I don't need the nightmares. I don't need to wake up. Yeah, I'm a pussy. I know it. I already get enough nightmares waking up going, oh, my God, Trump won? Trump won? Oh, my God. I already have to deal with that. I don't need Freddy and Jason also adding into that little apocalyptic scenario, right? So I'm watching it, and it is disturbing on disturbing. Now, I do like dark movies. Like Leaving Las Vegas is truly one of my favorite movies, and it is dark, and then it gets darker, and then it even gets darker from there. And I was watching this movie, and I was like, oh, my gosh, this movie is out there, and this guy is amazing. I mean, this guy is just taking this role. And the movie got so disturbing, I left about 3/4 of the way through. And I walked out of there thinking, this guy, that verdict will literally change his entire family history. This guy was going to be one of the biggest stars in Hollywood. He put his hands on a woman. He got convicted rightfully. And his career is destroyed. Like there's people in Hollywood like Robert Downey. He did drugs. He hurt himself. There's a path to redemption for that, okay? Unless you're a girl like Lindsay Lohan, then they just cut you up and throw you in the garbage can. But if you're a guy and you hurt others, like Kevin Spacey, it doesn't seem like you make your way back. It's just, I was thinking to myself, man, this guy was going to be the next big superstar, because I'm telling you, that movie is haunting. He is incredible, and I would not recommend anybody see it. It is disturbing on disturbing, and I didn't even see the end, and I'm sure the end was just really crazy. All right, we're going to start out with the news today. Like I said, we're taking no prisoners. We're telling no lies. And, here we go. We're going to talk about our buddy, Donald Trump. He got a big announcement here today, and let's see what he has to say.
I'm thrilled to announce that At my direction, the United States Air Force is moving forward with the world's first sixth-generation fighter jet. Number sixth generation. Nothing in the world comes even close to it. And it'll be known as the F-47. The generals picked a title. And it's a beautiful number, F-47. It's something the likes of which nobody has seen before in terms of all of the attributes of a fighter jet. There's never been anything even close to it, from speed to maneuverability to what it can have to payload. The F-47 will be the most advanced, most capable, most lethal aircraft ever built. An experimental version of the plane has secretly been flying for almost 5 years, and we're confident that it massively overpowers the capabilities of any other nation. There's no other nation. We know every other plane. I've seen every one of them.
Obviously, you haven't been to Area 51 there, Slick. You know? Good luck, huh? All right. Let's talk about this. And everything that Donald Trump is great. Everything that Joe Biden or Barack Obama does is crap. We all know to it. But you know what? I'm going to dive deeper into this whole thing. And the military-industrial complex is incredibly sick. It is disgusting. It is corrupt. It is, when they talk about we're going to save all this money, $1 trillion of our budget goes to the Defense Department. And even in this time where Doge is talking about we're going to save $1 trillion, $2 trillion, they actually added money to the Defense Department in the stopgap bill. Yeah. Really going to cut waste, right? So now they've given the contract to Boeing. Right. It's like giving the keys to the hen house to the fox. This company is terrible. Now, they say it was after rigorous competition. He says it's going to be for the next generation of dominance platform for fighter jets. Now, they call this the Next Generation Air Dominance Program, NGAD. I would say it's EGADS, because, God, this is going to be terrible. It's intended to produce the sixth-generation fighter for our nation's safety and defense, right? Now, the last fighter that came through the pipe was the Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II. And it has suffered from delays and cost overruns, and it has been a debacle on a debacle. And this is what happens all these big weapon systems. Even Elon, who now is a military expert, has railed against the F-35, instead advocating for unmanned drones, which, to me, and I'm not the military expert, that just seems goddamn stupid. I mean, we're not sending a drone over to China, but okay. Maybe I guess we put 1 million drones on an aircraft carrier and send them over. I don't know, but, it's great to see that he's figured out more than our Pentagon generals. Musk said about this program, the F-35 that is, he says, meanwhile, some idiots, maybe they're secretly Tesla engineers who made the Cybertruck, are still building manned fighters like the F-35. All right, you want to get your pound of flesh. When Lockheed Martin was awarded the F-35 contract in October of 2001, and that plane is still not up. So when Trump says we're going to put this next generation, we literally could be waiting a quarter of a century for it to see the sky, if it does see the sky, right? 2 decades later, now listen to this. In October 20 of 2001, Lockheed said it would cost approximately $200 billion. Wow, well, that's a lot of money, right? Well, 2 decades, basically 25 years, let's just call it that, quarter of a century, the cost has now exceeded $2 trillion. Yeah, with a T, as in Trump, T, as in turd, T. as in we're getting ripped off. T. Well, that's not a T. So what happens is, once they get the contract, what happens is they go, well, we have cost overruns. You know, you want this, you want that. I'll give you an example. I worked at the UCLA Ronald Reagan Hospital, and it was about a 5-year project. And when they designed the hospital, they had all the cutting-edge technology and everything. And by the time the hospital opened 5 years later, all that technology was outdated. They had to retrofit basically the hospital after it opened, right? It's the same thing with planes. The technology 5 years from now, from what they draw up, is going to be totally different. But Trump loves the number F-47. So now they've awarded the contract to Boeing. All right? Boeing, I don't even know where to begin here. You know, they were the pinnacle of American innovation for literally their first 70 years. They started somewhere around 1920. Just a beacon of innovation, quality control. Then they joined with McDonnell Douglas, which was primarily a defense contractor, and theirs was turn and burn. Let's just turn a profit. We don't care. We don't care about nothing. Boeing, after that merger, started to head downwards in terms of their money they put into quality control. Without getting too deep into the details, because this isn't a 60 Minutes piece, they put all their money into stock buybacks to raise the price of their stock. They didn't really care about their planes. And in 2004, they came out with the Dreamliner. Now, they cut the R&D to build this plane in half on what a typical plane development budget would be. They outsourced parts of the plane to over 50 outside contractors that they had no control over their quality. Okay? So they just took the contractor's words for, oh, okay, you're doing this right, you're doing this right. They didn't spend the money. Got to cut. We got to get that stock price up. When the plane finally debuted, there was wrinkles in the skin. Fasteners were incorrectly fastened on the tail. Gaps in the joints in the planes. I mean, hey, don't worry about it. It's just a plane, right? When they debuted the Dreamliner in 2007, it was really a sham. They actually rolled out 3 years later and $25 billion more over budget. When they rolled out that plane in 2007, I saw the video, and they literally used plywood for doors just so they could have the photo off. They towed it in. They didn't actually have functioning engines on it. One of the reporters for the Wall Street Journal said, I went under the plane and looked up, and I could see holes in all the way to the sky. He goes, I knew something was wrong. They wouldn't let anybody in the plane, whatever. The plane then went on to have multiple problems with fires in Boston and Japan within 9 days. The FAA grounded them, back when we actually had an FAA. But they never had a fatality. Okay, I'll give them that. Then Boeing, this beacon, the one who's got this new contract, rolled out the 737 MAX. Oh, brother, here we come. Let's talk about the problems of Boeing's last little star that fly across the night sky. First of all, we're going to start out with they had 2 deadly crashes. I'm not going to make light of them. I usually make a little joke here, but sadly, 346 people lost their lives. And Boeing knew about it. There was a flaw in the MCAS system. I'm not going to get into the engineering of it, which was a poorly designed flight control system, which was activated at the wrong time due to a sensor failure. And it took control basically away from the pilots. And what they instinctively would do actually caused them to crash. Okay? And it was just a redesign of a previous plane instead of quote unquote a new plane. And the reason they did this is so they wouldn't have to retrain all the pilots. That was a selling point to the airlines. You don't have to retrain your pilots. We're going to give them a 2-hour iPad session. Yeah, 2-hour iPad session. 346 people passed. The FAA, well, actually the FAA, Congress took them off the tarmacs, but this was after, I think, 32 other countries did. So, we're not going to be the leader. We're going to follow them. Okay, everybody else said, yeah, we don't need the America to tell us what's going on with this plane. This plane sucks. But they seemed to survive. Everything got through until January 2024, a little over a year ago. God, it seems like it was longer than that. A door plug detached from Alaskan Airlines flight 737 MAX 9 during flight from Portland to Ontario, California. All right, Ontario, represent. Causing an uncontrolled decompression. It wasn't at cruising speed, thank goodness, or maybe we would have lost some lives there. Then the Boeing CEO came out the next week and said, quote unquote, it was a quality escape issue. Like, wow, what the F is that? What the hell is a quality escape? They found out they had missing bolts. Now, missing bolts are not really a quality escape. It's a fundamental flaw. It's a quality control problem. This company is going to build the new fighter jet. That's who's going to build it. What PR person came up with quality escape? Now, we don't really know what the contract is here, but I can tell you right now, we're not going to see this plane flying for 15 years. I don't really care what Trump says, and we got experimental ones. Yeah, right. You got hang gliders out there at Andover, Maryland. Yeah, right. All I'm going to say is this. The military, once they award a contract, it is carte blanche. Oh, we had this problem, we had that problem, we need another $5 billion. Think about this. A $200 billion contract in 2001 is over $2 trillion, and the plane isn't even flying 25 years later. I mean, Jesus Christ. And we've got to cut USAID, right? Because we got to get that $3 billion. Or we got to cut food stamps, or we got to cut SNAP, or we got to cut Medicaid. Jesus Christ. I mean, they're talking about cutting Social Security and Medicaid. I'm seeing posts online about Social Security getting cut to people who, like, I don't understand. My SS got cut $300. I can't get a hold of anybody online. I can't get a hold of anybody on the phone. Yeah, Doge is working great. There you go. When they come for you, then you're going to find out. Just insane. All right. That's all I'm going to do today. It's Saturday. It's kind of a slow day. You know what I want you all to do? I want you to go out there and love somebody. Spread the good word. Don't be sad because it's the end. I got to tell you, I love y'all. I appreciate you listening to this. We're going to get through it. We are going to win. I know it's darkest before the dawn, but you know what? We're going to have faith. We're going to have hope. And I believe in you. I believe in what we're doing because we're on the side of right. Okay? I need you. I love you. Hit that like and subscribe button. If you could, please leave a comment, and let's just see where we're going. And I will see you tomorrow.